Hello everyone, welcome back. We're into the next gameplay. And like last time, this time we're going to be doing... I think I'm going to do long day and barbecue. I know I said I would do castle and barbecue, because grown-ups seems like that's to the next transition. So I'm going to let that be the last transition. So this is going to be the last game. The last chapter in the gameplay. So, long day. It was another scorching summer day. Another scorching summer day. The kind where no sooner you had finished one cup of water, you were already filling it up again. By the way, I'm already continuing from another gameplay, so if I sound like I'm stuttering, I got a snuffy nose, not as such. It's true. And my dog is still normal, so yeah. Everyone else had something on, so that afternoon it was just you and Shiloh. This didn't happen much, especially since Cove had arrived. Without Lizzie around, Shiloh looked to you for all the answers. It made you feel... options. Please. Frustrated. Nothing really. Yeah, I don't feel nothing. Shiloh went along with whatever you wanted, so he wasn't a bother, but he also wasn't that much fun. True. You drink yet another drink, whatever, and frowned at the empty vessel, whatever. Your thirst was gone, but you still craved something icy cold and refreshing. Something sweet, something like options: a popsicle, an ice cream cone, and ice cream sandwich. Back then, popsicle was a thing. You wanted something fruity and brightly colored. Not really, not right now. There was nothing like that to be found at home. You knew that without needing to look. Your mom didn't keep sweets in the house. That's sad. Something other than outside, there were plenty of places where such goodies could be obtained, but they were shops and demand payment in exchange for their products. Options: you sighed, you voiced your predicament aloud, you asked Shiloh for help. Let's see. I'm gonna sigh. I don't usually sigh, but I don't want to use Shiloh. I'm not gonna do that to him. As much as you really wanted that treat, it wasn't going to happen. What's wrong? I want a popsicle. Shiloh, who had been draped over the sofa, perked up. Yeah. That sounds good. We don't have any here, and I don't want any money. Oh, and I don't have any money. Oh, let me check if I have any. Shiloh rummaged in his backpack and proudly produced an assortment of coins plus one stray button. You set the button aside and counted the coins in neat piles. Just over $1. You announced this to Shiloh. He had almost certainly come to the same conclusion, but he'd been watching you expectantly. Options: it's not enough, or it's a start, because I don't know the prices that they're going to give, so I'm going to say it's a start. Shiloh beamed at you, so I'm not going to shoot him down for trying. We'll need to find some more. Okay. The two of you lift couch cushions, stuck tiny hands down deep crevices in the sofa, paused, and under furniture, and scorched that backup drawers. I mean, there's no need. They're children, and they are searching between couches. Most of what you found was useless or gross. Bent paper clip, fluffy wisp of dust, or sandy crumbs. Sandy crumbs. But every so often, one of you would strike silver or bronze and add it to the growing pile of coins. Your mind wandered to the $20 bill tucked away in your room. Hey, that's right. I haven't used it yet. It was enough for you and Shiloh to get whatever you want and more, but you didn't take it out. that was too special to hand over so freely. Wow, girl, okay. Besides, Shiloh would be curious about where it came from and might even mention your wealth to Lizzie. Ooh, that's true. The exchange had been a secret. True. Dusty and disheveled from checking every room and squinting into every tiny nook, the two of you finish pulling your fine. Shiloh held his breath as you count the coins once again. Sorry about that. $2.53 and 2 buttons. You don't know when the second button has decided to join the party, but you were too pleased with your successful haul to throw it out. Is that enough? You figured he knew the answer without looking at you for confirmation, but the thrill of your success and the reward that would follow canceled out any other feelings you might have had about that. Yeah. You can now afford something at the shop, just one thing, but that was infinitely better than none. Shiloh clapped his hands. Clap. Yay! The two of you dashed outside. The promise of sugar buoyed you onto your destination where, breathless but happy, you stared at the overwhelming number of options. You knew what you wanted, but it wasn't just you who had contributed the funds to get the treat. He seemed to notice your pause. Aren't you getting a popsicle? Shiloh asked as though he was entirely separate from the decision, rather than someone with a stack in the outcome. Anyway, do you mind? Shiloh cocked his head to the side. It was your idea. You should choose. Aww. Option. You went ahead and got what you wanted originally. Are you really sure it's okay? You tried to get something you both wanted anyway. Yeah, again, you contributed. I'm not about to be greedy. It wasn't fair for you to be the only one to decide when he's been a main factor in making this happen. Some of the money came directly from his backpack, true. What do you like? All of them. They're so good. You press further. But what do you really like? Popsicle or ice cream? Which is your favorite? It's so hard to pick. I don't know. Frustrated. I'd be frustrated too. Like, bro, I'm trying to treat you as well. Like, you helped me with the money. I know you're a kid. I'm supposed to be a kid too. But I got the mindset that if you helped, you're getting something too. I think that's why he's so used to Lizzie telling him what to do. Cause he honestly don't know. You better get some ground in you, boy. Anyway, frustrated, you cut to the heart of the matter. You want me to choose? Yeah. And that was that. You got the dessert you wanted originally and hoped Shiloh would actually like it too. Finally, the reward for all of your hard work was in your hands. You enjoyed the fruity popsicles you bought. The icy treat cooled you down perfectly and the zesty flavor was refreshing. You held it out to Shiloh so he could take a turn. He shook his head. Aw, he didn't want any? After everything he did to help get it. That was weird, true. Option, but you accepted the offer. You tried to include Shiloh. You hesitated. I'm gonna keep pressing until he makes up his mind. Even if Shiloh said it was okay, every story you ever seen on TV or read in a book said that sharing was caring. You stood your ground even as the treat started to trickle dangerously towards your fingers. It's only fair that you have some. We both bought it. But you want it more than I do, and getting to play was a lot of fun already. So you can have it. You can have it. That's more fair? I think that's what it says. I'm actually getting foggy in the eyes a little bit. Nothing wrong with my eyes, it's just when I read, I'm used to using my eyes, not my words. You held it out to him. I want you to have some even more than I want to finish it, so eat your part. Relenting, Shiloh took the treat and gave it a taste. His eyes lit up. You're welcome. It's really good, thank you. He smiled, pleased with your good deed. You picked the best one. Did he mean that? Shiloh was always nice no matter what happened. Even if he hated it, you knew he wouldn't say so. Now that's sad. Maybe he thought it was gross and that's really the reason why he didn't want to take some. You had no idea. You studied him as he ate a little more. He had every appearance of enjoying himself. Still weird. I probably read that wrong, but the two of you began to head back home as he ate. You walked side by side on the shore in silence, but your thoughts kept drifting to the boy beside you. Why didn't he speak up for himself? It was almost as if Shiloh didn't know how to say what he felt, or was too afraid to. Option. You figured that was his problem and didn't care. Are you scared of me? You thought that was kind of sad. Are we friends? Yeah, I feel like I'm babysitting him though. Like, this all Shiloh's ever did? Like, come on. Cause me personally now noticing like Lizzie's little characteristics a little bit. I don't know her fully, but this is actually sad. Like, he just goes along with everything she says. What are the other times that you need to stand your ground? And it could be anything. Not that he's scared. I'm gonna say that's kind of sad, because it really is. Not being able to talk to people isn't fun, and you didn't want to be that. You didn't want to be the kind of person people were scared to tell their honest opinion to. You considered asking Shiloh about it, but if he couldn't give an opinion on something like ice cream, then he wasn't going to open up about this. But whatever. You hope for the best. Maybe you were wrong, or if you were right, maybe he'd feel better about it soon. Shiloh made you unsure about setting a label on the experience of spending the afternoon with just him. There had been good times and there had been confusing ones. You were positive of one thing, at least the treat was delicious and that was nice. The sun was low on the horizon as you returned to your neighborhood. There you spotted two very familiar figures up ahead, Lizzie and Cole. So we all took turns being with each other. You opened your mouth to make your presence known to them just as you saw the tears on Cole's face. What? You walked straight over, Shiloh at your heels. Once you were there, first of all, I don't even know what happened. So, option, defend Cole. Took a moment to make a joke, no. Accused Lizzie of causing trouble, no. Carefully asked asked about what happened. Carefully asked about what happened. Without a time machine, the only way you were going to find out was by asking the witnesses. Lizzie might have done something, but she could have been in the wrong place at the wrong time, or even come to Cole's aid. You wanted to hear the story. Cole, what happened? Teresa, I got yelled at. You took a deep, steady breath. Some grandparents got mad at me. Sorry. Lizzie jerked her head in the direction of a nearby house. Your heart sunk. You knew exactly what had happened. Every year the same mean old couple rent out that condo for the summer. You, Lizzie, and Shiloh knew to stay away from them, but Cole couldn't have. They're like that with anyone. Even your mom struggles to find anything nice to say about them, but the elderly pair particularly took offense to kids. Could they not have kids? Could they have kids? Or what? I don't understand. It didn't matter if they were really nice to Cole. Or me. I didn't really see it carefully. Yeah, Lizzie said. Lizzie drew herself up at that. She looked pointedly in your direction. I was helping. That's cool. Is there anything I can do? No, I'm just gonna stay away. Or you could teach them a lesson. What the heck? There was a devilish glint in her eyes. What? You should ding-dong ditch them. Go ring the doorbell and run. It'll be great, because they're so slow. They'll never catch up, but they'll snitch. That's dumb. I don't want to go near them ever again.
You're just saying that because you're a chicken.
Oh, I didn't need to read that. Voiceover. Cole glared, but didn't take the bait. Lizzie turned to you. You're not a chicken, are you? Girl, I ain't getting mixed up in none of your shenanigans. You're just gonna have to dislike me for a sibling. Option. Yeah, cluck cluck. You'd rather just avoid them. You thought they deserved worse. I'll do it. Okay, now I'm just like, Cole may have said it was dumb. And usually everybody avoid that couple. They do it every summer. So I know I'm gonna get in trouble. And I feel like I've been leaning toward helping Lizzie for a while, but that's gonna be alright. So I still got a lot of time with Cole anyway. But no, I never think they ever deserve worse. But they're already old. Come on. I'll do it. Really? You took a deep breath and nodded. Lizzie squealed with delight. Weird sister. We'll go higher. Run as soon as you hit the bell. Good luck. Lizzie and Charlotte ran across the road to take a shelter in the bushes. Even once you settled down, you could make out two child-sized shapes staring from between the leaves. You knew where to look for them. So you thought, so. And so you told yourself that the grouchy old people wouldn't spot it. Cole sighed, his eye flicking to the house and then back to you. Be careful. I'll be quick as a flash, literally. He gave the door and you one last look before joining Lizzie and Charlotte in their hideaway. The weight of 3 pairs of eyes on your back was heavier than anything you carried before as you approached the door. You hesitated as you reached for the doorbell. Then, option. You rung it. You didn't ring it. I rung it. You slapped the buzzer and ran. Blood thumped against your eardrums with every step. Would you make it in time? Approaching the hiding spot, you knew that there wasn't time to go around the bushes as the others had done. You took a shortcut leaping over them. Or to be more accurate, crashing into the tops of the bushes and then falling over to the other side. Cole quickly hissed it at you, unwittingly coiled it onto him. Sorry, but by the way his arms were out, it seemed he had intentionally tried to cushion your landing. Aww. You already got one broken arm. You don't need another one. Come on. Please, sweet. Shh. Lizzie put a finger to her lips and nodded at the house. You disentangled your limbs from Cole's and spun around to see the old man framed in the doorway, peering back and forth suspiciously. You covered your mouth with your hand, but it wasn't enough to stifle your giggles. Maybe he spotted one of you, or maybe it was the leaves you displacive while jumping, but he locked eyes with the bush and stormed over in the direction she lost gas and looked to Lizzie. He stormed over. Bro, y'all better scram. Run! Your sister did not hesitate to take her own advice. Neither did Shiloh. You got up, but seeing Cole struggling to extract himself and stand up with just the one fully functional arm, you gave him a hand up before taking off after the others. The old man hollers propelled you all from the street to the sanctity of the hill. Don't want to say sanctuary, I guess. Only once you were safe did you notice the stitch in your chest. The stitch in your chest and the ache of your legs. Okay. You flopped down, the blades of grass tickling your face. Lizzie had taken the lead in the end, was already laying on the ground. The four of you took a moment to catch your breath and enjoy the feeling of cool grass against your skin.
Cove.
Hey, Cove. Cove lifted his head. I told you there were mean grandparents around here. Cole rolled his eyes, then decided this wasn't dismissive enough and rolled his whole body away from your sister. Okay. I had to make sure I read correctly. Liddy chose to ignore his response and started chatting to Shiloh, who eagerly joined in the conversation. In the back of your mind, you knew you'd be second fiddle again to Shiloh. Once Lizzie came around, why did I lift my voice? Let me try that again. In the back of your mind, you knew you'd be second fiddle again to Shiloh once Lizzie came around. It always went like that. Okay. Options. I'm sorry if y'all can't hear me a little bit. If you can, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna take the towel off my head. Good again. I did everything I needed to do today. And I took a good long shower. And thankfully, I had enough time to even have just a thankful shower. I usually do what I gotta do to go to work. Options, and it was fine, you thought. You still felt a little sad after how much time you spent together today. Oh, wait a minute. You still felt a little sad after how much time you spent together today, and it was always annoying. About Lizzie and Shiloh? Nah, I'm fine with it. Shiloh could prefer Lizzie as much as he wants. True. There were other things to attend to anyway. You wriggled closer to Cole. He had calmed down for the most part and was inspecting a flower. His fingers pinched the stem and tilted the white petals towards him. That's a poppy. Poppy, the game? No flower. Cole glanced at you in acknowledgement, then back to the flower. And the type of poppies on this hill have the name white lining poppy, Mom told me. He quirked a smile. That's funny. He ran a finger around the edge of the petals. It doesn't feel like cloth. You need a lot of them to make anything. He nodded and released the delicate flower. Evaluation complete. This is my favorite kind of flower, but I didn't know what it was called. Thanks. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of words. Okay, bear with me. Option. It's mine too. I like roses. Buttercups are really great. My favorite is snapdragons. What the heck? Hibiscuses are the best. Peonies are pretty. I love sunflowers. I pick tulips. Orchids are the most special. Type your own answer. Oh, I can do that? Cool. I like all flowers. I don't care about flowers. I only know what my mom tells me. What the heck? What I wish could exist is blue roses. And I don't want to say I like roses only specifically, but to be truthful, I have no idea what this kind of flower is. I don't know what these two is. I know what these are. So, what's a flower I can tell? I'm just gonna settle for roses. But to be honest, some flowers I just like, some I don't, but it's alright. They smell really nice. Those are fancy flowers. You look good with them. Aww. Thanks. Aw, babies. You moved onto your back with a small smile and looked at the darkening sky. The blanket of clouds reminded you of a thick throw you curled under on cold, rainy days. You mean throw over? Okay. You wondered if the clouds would be as soft. They lazily floated on by, splitting from each other, merging and morphing into new shapes. Options. You saw a dolphin. You saw a car. You saw an alpaca. You saw a smiley face. You saw cloud shapes. What are cloud shapes? Clouds come in all shapes and sizes. I'm gonna say dolphins, because I actually took pictures of weird things in its cloud form. You saw a dolphin leaping through the sky. You nudged Cove and pointed to it. Look, a dolphin! Cove joined you, engaging skyward something. I'm gonna say sky art, because again, like the last time, I'm not gonna keep rewinding most of the scenes, because I got the option to do it last time, and I was happy with the ending I got before the actual chapter ended. Yeah, I see it. Really? No, but I like dolphins. Yeah. He chuckled at your reaction. Nighttime! All the sun's light faded from the sky and the moon rose higher. Lizzie got to her feet, dusting strands of grass from her bare legs and surveying her surroundings. The ocean, visible from the crest of the hill, beckoned with every sweep of the tide. Let's go to the beach. There was no argument from the other two. Other two. Shiloh was still Shiloh, and Cole would never say no to going to the shore. He was a child of the sea. See? You? Yeah, I'm gonna join. Option. Wanted to go there too. We're too tired to argue. We're happy to do whatever the others wanted. Object to the plan. Yeah, I'm going to the beach too. At least we're all together. So you eagerly join the others in descending the hill down to the water. You stepped on the sand for the second time that day, but it felt different at night. The beach was nearly quiet at this hour. Abandoned sandcastles and footsteps in the sand, too big to belong to any of you, were the only indication of how busy it had been only hours earlier. The four of you kicked the shoes off and removed socks and walked along the water edge. The waves tickled your feet. I wonder what would happen if you tried to take a bath in the ocean with shampoo and everything. It would not go well. All the bacteria, all the decay, all the birth, all the blood, everything in there, you do not want to try. It is not fresh. That would be bad for the fish, true, because there's chemicals going in it than it is you bringing something out. I didn't say anyone would do it. Jeez, you don't have to be serious about everything. You're right, Cole. God dang. You're the one who asked what would happen. That is what would happen. It hurt the fishes. I like bubble baths at home. They're a lot of fun. Me too. Bubble baths are luxurious. You never heard Lydia use that word before. Mommy loves to have bubble baths. Mommy loves to have bubbles in her bath. She'll turn the lights off and have candles. I'm gonna do that next time. Oh girl, are we all? Hey, when's your mom coming to pick you up? Ooh, anyway. Oh, okay, you're a tourist, Sherlock, okay. Not for a while, she's busy. What about your dad? How come you never talk about him? Nobody does. Don't you know you're not supposed to ask something like that? Okay, Lizzie's saying it. Oh, she can defend it. Okay, defensive. Why would somebody want to talk about something they never talk about? You kept your eyes on the ground watching your shoes get swallowed by a wave. Oh, your toes get swallowed by a wave. Even if Charlotte never seemed upset when this topic come up, it made you feel awkward just for having both of your moms. Okay. It's okay. I'm like Lizzie and I'm a Teresa. I don't have a dad. But I don't have two moms. I just have one. She's really great. I'm sorry. I only have one now too. My mom isn't here. She's back home. It's just my dad with me. You don't have to apologize. At this point, everybody got different situations. Aw, I never had a dad or anything, so I don't feel bad. It's really sad that your mom is gone. Cole nodded. I better not see a wet work of tears out here at all. Option. You joked about Shiloh's mom getting together with Cole's dad. No, absolutely not. Even if they're all different, our parents are good in their own way. True, you didn't say anything. We're gonna pick this option because it makes sense. Cole couldn't muster a response. You don't think he truly disagreed, though. The silence broke with a splash of Lizzie's kick in your direction. Cold water and sudden sand splattered against your legs. Lizzie giggled, foot still outstretched from the kick. I saw that smile, Cole. It's a battle. Cole joined in, striking the incoming wave to make a splash of his own. Shiloh scurried out of Cole's spray, sprayed on with a grin. Options. Retaliate. You use your foot to smack the water pooling around you, sending an arc of sea foam flying back onto your sister. You laughed as she spluttered some of the salty water. You laughed as she spluttered, some of the salty seawater having landed in her mouth. She spat it out. Yuck! Lizzie chased you, intending on revenge. You dashed up and down the coast, taking it in turns to be the predator and the prey, as well as joining forces to take down Shiloh or Cole. Alliance were silently forged and wordlessly broken. Seriously, everything was fair game in war. Ah! Shiloh's brief exclamation was drowned out by the biggest splash yet, caused by him falling face first into the ground. That would have been bad enough without the wave that followed, cascading over his prone body. Ah, that's sad. Shiloh sat up, shaking his head like a dog coming in from the rain. As you all hurried over to check on him, his hair was plastered to his head and his soaked clothes clung. If there was any part of him that was still dry, you couldn't see it. That was crazy. Are you okay? Yeah, my foot got stuck and I fell over.
Dumbo.
Way to go, Shiloh, you Dumbo. Meanie. Option. You offer him some help up. Let him get up by himself. Offer him to get up. Shiloh didn't take your outstretched hand. After a moment, you dropped it out. Lizzie was too busy snickering to notice and held her hand out to Shiloh too. He reached over and took it. Slowly he started to pull himself from the ground. Then he slipped on the slick sand, dragging him and Lizzie down just in time for another wave to hit. The water rolled over them.
Sorry.
Not really. What were the odds of that happening twice in a row? You thought they must be low. Press the wrong button, so I gotta use my controller. How sad. There we go. Okay, turn the mouse off. Yeah, like what were the odds of that second wave coming in and both of them getting hit? But there's no way Shiloh would do something like that on purpose, then pretend it was an accident, especially not to Lizzie. Even if their relationship with Shiloh felt unclear, he did at least like her a lot. Lizzie was his favorite, right? Yeah. Smiling boldly, Lizzie extracted herself from the ground and wiped a streak of sand from her cheek. She didn't intend to let this embarrass her. Shiloh got up again as well. This time without incident. He still looked like a drowned puppy, but that didn't stop Cole laughing at the two of them. With that, it was time to call it a day. The four of you made the journey back home, leaving a trail of wet footsteps and sand in your wake. Damp clothes may have weighed down some of the group, but your spirits were high. Your arms swung side to side as a cool breeze flowed past. Blew past. Your moms were outside chatting to Cole's dad. We're back. Your mom's faces fell as they looked in the state you all were in, ranging from messy to soaked.
No.
Elizabeth, is that all that you have to say for yourself? You brought half the beach back with you. They certainly did. That's Marigold going to do? Huh? What's Marigold going to do when she comes to get Shiloh? Oh, that's his mom. Okay. Is that how you want him to be for the long drive home? Cold and filthy? Lydia's expression turned sulky over the scolding. Being the oldest could be fun, but it all meant she was the first to get in trouble when something went wrong. Mr. Holden, on the other hand, chuckled as he ruffled Cole's matted hair. You been out making memory, bucko? I'm glad you had a good time with your friends. Cole used his slightly moist cast arm to push his dad off. Mr. Holden's eyes widened when he noted even that had gotten wet. Now he was worried too. I think they could have found a less risky way to spend time and had just as much fun. That might be right, kids. What can we do? Come on, Cole. Let's go get you cleaned up and dried off. We wouldn't want that cast to have to be reset. Cole winced at the thought. Okay. That a boy. Mr. Halton casually bent down and plucked Cole up off the ground. Mr. Halton casually bent down and picked up Cole off the ground. Plucked Cole off the ground, ultimately holding Cole against his chest. Sand was already transferring from Cole onto him, but that didn't seem to bother Mr. Halton. Cole protested being carried, but only got a reassuring pat on the back for his trouble.
Take care.
Good night, Cole. Thank you for the talk, Cliff. Night. Last family and Shiloh too. Oh, Last. That's our last name, because I didn't have a name. Resigned to his fate, Cole twisted his body in his dad's arm in order to turn around and wave goodbye. Smiling, you waved back. Good night.
Fine.
Well, we better do what we can to fix you guys up too. Come on, everybody inside. I want you to march straight to the downstairs bathroom. Yes, ma'am. Okay, Lizzie's mom. Don't worry about stopping to wipe your feet on the mats this time. That won't do much tonight. That won't do much good tonight. Sitting on an old bench towel your mommy had found, you waited in the hall until you were less sandy. You weren't allowed to go to your room or walk around the house. But you did get to eat a sandwich for dinner there. It felt like an indoor picnic. It had been decided that Charlotte would wash first and borrow some of your clothes, since our clothes is unisex anyway. He was already finished and packed away in his mom's cart. Miss Fields had come to collect him a little while ago. It was a bit of a funny experience seeing him without that hat on for once. Lizzie, being much more soaked than you, got to go to the tub next. It wasn't a bubble bath as she had hoped. This was a no fun allowed clean up session, at least that's what she claimed. Not much longer and it would be your turn. When the bath was done, you have to go right to bed. After a day like this though, you were glad there weren't going to be any further events. Drifting off to sleep sounded like a great idea. Alright, that was long day. And then I think about it, yeah, we already went to the beach, so we're not gonna keep going back to back. So we're gonna go with barbecue. You've been brought along to the big part today, which did an excellent job of living up to its title. The part near your house with its lonely back playground equipment wasn't even a quarter of the size of the expanse of grass and trees that lay before you now. As it was in the next town over and too far for you to walk by yourself, you didn't get to visit it much, and so you soaked up the environment. Another difference between this park and the one in your neighborhood was that this one had visitors other than you, Lizzie, Charlotte, and Cole. Today it was the busiest you ever seen it, thanks to a community get-together luring people in from all over the local area with the promise of barbecue and fireworks. Your family and Cole's were just two of many. What seemed like a dozen of cars were parked up already when you had arrived. You saw Cole hesitate as he took in the growing giggle of strangers. By your mommy, Lizzie bounced on the balls of her feet, barely containing her excitement. Option: the crowd made you nervous. No, you couldn't wait for the fireworks. True. You look forward to meeting more kids. True. You'd rather have stayed home. Not today. Your tummy was already rumbling for the food to come. That is absolutely true. Even if it was bigger, this park wasn't as special as the one back home. My tummy wants some food. It was going to be so good. Mommy had told you that the people running the community event weren't charging for it, but you wanted them to get something in return. Which is why slow down. Which is why you have not been allowed to touch the beautifully iced cupcakes you had carried on your lap during the drive over. It was a special treat for them. Every time the car made a turn, you clutched the box tight enough for your knuckles to strain, much to everyone else's amusement. Mr. Halson's contribution to the party, a huge pack of juice box, was tucked under his arm after being retrieved from the car's truck. You bet there had been so much dramatics around that cargo getting here in one piece, but the box did lack the beautiful shimmer of Mommy's treasured cupcakes. everyone all set? Should be. Is everybody? I think she said, is everybody all set? It's my time. Shut up. Cove, did you put sunscreen on before we left? Yeah, I always do. You don't have to tell me. Mr. Halton deflated. His attempt at caring for his son rebuffed, but he triumphed with a smile. Good kid. I don't want you to get burned or dehydrated either. It'll be a busy day.
Well,
Don't think there's going to be any risk of that second part. Mom nodded at the table up ahead, laden with all kinds of food and drinks. She was right. There was plenty to go around. The parents headed over with you, Lizzie and Cole trailing after them. A bunch of grown-ups were clustered around there, chatting, but you were more intrigued by what was on the table. Some of it was familiar: chilled meat, sliced vegetables, big bags of chips, but there were a lot that you didn't recognize. Your mom had said that you weren't to touch the food until they said it was time to eat. Option: you didn't see the harm in taking just a little. You wanted to listen to their rules. You didn't want to risk getting caught. Let's see. And I think I've done this before. You didn't want to take the risk getting caught. It'd be bad if you got in trouble before the event had even started. He saw that Mommy and Mr. Halton has deposited the food and drink they brought. Mommy gave the cupcakes one final worried look before turning to you with a smile. Since that's the topic at hand, how about you freshen up with something to drink? Yeah! That'd be great. Along with the ones out, there was a giant ice cooler on the ground. I paused so I can check my dog. He's acting weird. So where was I? There was a giant ice cooler on the ground stuffed full of cans of soda, box of juices and milk, as well as bottles of water. Your drink was, from experience, soda is not so good when you want to have fun. Milk, you don't necessarily need it because it don't really quench anything unless you had like cupcakes, which is convenient. There's cupcakes, but also like cinnamon rolls, something quite heavier. So I'll take a juice, because at least with a juice you can have water behind it. So I want some flavor. You slurp the sweet juice through the straw until all too soon you were sucked up only air. Your little group took a break while everyone quenched their thirst. Mr. Halton smacked his lips, pantomiming enjoyment, whatever that means. That hit the spot, but you kids should go have fun. You can take your stuff with you and join the other kids playing games. Just don't go too far from these tables. We'll be keeping an eye out, so don't even think about sneaking off. We're not going to the other parts of the park today. Strict. Lizzie huffed at the comment. They did sound direct at her, yeah. But she scanned the surroundings, nodding her head towards a group of kids like a general direction. Their Battalon, whatever. She pointed that way. She pointed away. Let's go meet the other kids, I think she said, because I clicked it before I can read it. Cole's mouth was downturned as he looked around. He looked from the parents and the other adults to the new kids, clearly not favoring either option. But ultimately, he hunched his shoulder and tagged along after Lizzie. Option: he went to play with the other kids. He stuck with the parents. Other kids. You followed after Lizzie and Cole, who were waiting for you on the outskirts of the group of parents. Hurry up! You picked up the pace, moving into a jog, but when Lizzie pelted away at full speed, you and Cole had no choice but to break out into a run. The other kids were far out in the field. Still at your speed, it was long until you reached them. As you approached, they turned around to greet the newcomers. I'm Lizzie. That's my little sister, Teresa. The one with the cast is Cole. Hi. Cole simply lifted a hand in greeting. There was a chorus of hellos and names from the other kids. One of the kids looked to be about Lizzie's age or older. A couple seemed to be the same age as you and Cole, and there was one tiny little thing with his arm folded over his chest. What are you up to? The first kid, a boy with curly black hair and neon green sneakers, who introduced himself as Hayden, shrugged as he looked to the others. Not much. The second kid to pipe up, Lisa, had half her face a skirt behind the huge glasses she wore. We haven't decided yet. She glanced wistfully over her shoulder. Following her gaze, you saw the spray of water first and heard the shriek as someone got splashed in the face before you spotted the person shooting them. Some people are playing with water guns, but there aren't any left. The smaller kid, Noah, grumbled at that. You guess that was why he was sulking. Spencer, who hadn't said much, patted his shoulders. So it's out, whatever. A new kid raced over with a glint of her eyes and her braids streaming behind her. You spotted the plastic orange pistol in her hand too late, when the trigger had already been pressed. Ah! Rude! Hey! Lizzie, who'd been caught first, was fuming. Cole wiped the water from his face. You rubbed at your ear. You rubbed at your ear, trying to dislodge the water that had pooled there. Option: don't spray people. You laugh. Watch out, he has a cast. Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. You push her away. Oh no, we ain't gonna start a fight. Yeah, let him know that. Worried, you looked at Cole's plastered arm. You knew that he had to be careful with it around water. It's okay. The girl simply darted off to find more victims, unaffected by your reaction. She doesn't mean anything by it. Lizzie tooted, flicking her hair out of her face. The girl's not meaning anything by it didn't change the fact that she'd been sprayed. Cole looked similarly unimpressed. Lisa's face lit up as she had an idea. Hey, we should catch her. She won't be able to spray people if she's running away from everybody. Yeah. Cole nodded as the other kids murmured their interest or lack of it in the game. Option: let's do it. That doesn't sound like a good idea to me. Okay, you nodded along. No saying, you shook your head. Nah, just wanna have fun? Alright. Get excited, we're in the park. You join a group of kids in tearing off after the girl with the pistol. Spotting you all over her shoulder, She laughed and shot her pistol in the air. Only a couple of drops squeezed out. She swerved, causing discord within her team as someone stood on your foot and you collided with Cole's shoulder. Sorry! Cole shot you a smile that gave you a feeling of camaraderie. Cool. It's okay. You were closing in on the girl, but you weren't alone. Lizzie's face was set with intent, and the two older kids were hot on her heels too. Option: you outran them easily. You outran them with effort. You weren't as fast as them because they were speedy. You weren't as fast as them because you just weren't fast. You moved to the side to let them pass. You didn't want to win this race. No, we ain't here for the winning. We're gonna say with effort. You push yourself, willing your leg to move just that bit faster. You were close. You then tackled her to the ground. You did it. The girl who had been caught giggled as she got to her feet, brushing strands of grass from her knees. Smiling, Cole came to a stop at your side. Lizzie whooped with delight, clapping her hands. The boy with the bright sneakers grinned. You're it now. Catch us if you can. Yeah. I'll do it. You won't get away from me. With that, you all dispersed, squealing and laughing as you tried to evade capture. The sour mood from earlier had evaporated entirely, replaced by a light and playful atmosphere. Several rounds later, when most of the kids had taken at least one turn at it, the scent of smoke wafted up to your nose. Caught by surprise, you look up and found that the brilliant blue of the sky had turned orange as the sun sunk down on the horizon. With all the excitement, you lost track of time completely. Looking over, you saw people standing over the grills and poking them to life. It was nearly time to eat. We should get over there. I'm so hungry. Our parents are at different spots. Yeah. Bye. It was cool playing. Yeah. Bye. Bye. You waved goodbye to the other group of kids before hurrying over to your parents with Lizzie and Cole. A tickle unfurled in your throat, growing more persistent as you came closer to the source of the smoke. As the three of you approached the tables, your parents spotted you and came to join you halfway. You tried to greet them, but another cough obstructed your words. Woof. That's quite a cough. Are you alright, sweetie? Options. You nodded confidently. I'm fine. No. You shook your head. Let's see. Let's just say no. But then again, we're gonna shake our head. Oh baby, I'm sorry. The smoke will be gone soon. No one needs to go up to the grill if they don't want to. Just let me know what you need. There was no response from the other two kids either. Here. Option. I can get it myself, Mommy. I can do it. You march over to the grill. Can you get it for me? Please, could you get it for me? You hung your head, moving no closer to the smoking grills. With a nasty cough like that, you might laugh. Of course.
So,
The main thing being served is kebab. You can have whatever you like on it. There's different meats and veggies. What would you like on yours? Mom is right. There's plenty of options. Options: chicken, beef, shrimp, pork, onions, peppers, zucchini, potatoes. Oof. What the world? Oh, we get more options? Okay. I'm like, what? Shrimp. And because we need some veggies, I'm going to get potatoes. I thought it was 3 things. Yeah, that's everything. Sounds good to me. The veggies will be good for you. Order given, you wait for your food to be ready. Lizzie headed towards you, having issued her own request. Okay. Hi again. I heard what you ordered. I'm getting a chicken kebab with all 3 colors of peppers. Noticing that Cove approached, she turned to him. What are you having?
Why?
What does it matter? God dang, kid. Come on. Been a part of this neighborhood for what? Been a part of this neighborhood for 3 episodes? I don't know. I was just asking. I'm getting beef and shrimp with all the vegetables except onion. Lily hummed while evaluating his response. That's okay, I guess. But chicken is definitely the better one. Then you can eat all the chicken. I'm going to. Option. I want some of the chicken too. All the chicken in the world? Chicken is the worst. This is a stupid argument. Chicken is the best choice. I don't know, they're kids. What is considered stupid to kids? But yeah, it makes no sense for an argument though. All the chicken in the world? No, that's dumb. You know what I mean. Lily peered over the grills where the kebabs were being handed out. A growing assortment of kebabs collected in your parents' hands. They're coming over. Don't get jealous of mine when you realize you made the wrong choice, Cole. I didn't make the wrong choice. Option. There isn't a wrong choice. We all made good choices. Same to you, Lizzie. He sighed. We all made good choices. She pissed. It's just what kebab somebody eats. It's just what kebab somebody eats. The person serving gave your mommy 1 final kebab. Then your parents moved over to regionally. Between them, they were carrying 6 kebabs, 1 for each of you, including Cove and Mr. Holden. We got the goods. Cove's daddy is looking for a place we can sit. In the meantime, they began passing out the kebabs to their rightful owners. Lizzie smiled smugly as she received hers. These are pretty big. Be careful not to drop it. Try not to poke yourself with the ends either. They're sharper than you might think. Then why would you use that? Tradition? Shouldn't need it. Hearing that, you tentatively pushed the tip of the skewer against your finger. It felt like the points of a newly sharpened pencil. Though it didn't hurt your hand, you wouldn't want it scraping the roof of your mouth or jabbing your tongue. Mommy clucked her tongue. It would have been nice if the options were a little easier to manage and less messy to eat, especially for smaller kids. There aren't even plates for everyone, so we could set the food down for a second. That's what you get for that's what you get for the price of free. But we can hack it, right? Lizzie nodded her head vigorously, clutching her kebab like a trophy. Your parents led you back to the table. It was immediately evident why Mr. Holden had been sent to scout one out. The benches had quickly filled up as people got their food. Mr. Holden was standing over a corner section near the edge of the sitting area. You beckoned your group over to him to join him. You clambered onto the bench, taking care not to let your kebab slip from your fingers. Cole took a seat next to you. Lizzie took this other side. Your mom passed the final unclaimed kebab to Mr. Holden. This looks delicious. Thank you for getting us a space out here. Everybody tucked into their food. You gobbled up eagerly, only partially obstructed by the awkwardness of eating from the skewer. Running around with other kids had helped you to work up an appetite. Mr. Holden, what do you do?
Well,
I do a lot of things. Do you play golf? Only if you count mini golf. She ain't like that. One look at Lizzie's shrinking face confirmed that she did not. She could enjoy the occasional round of mini golf place, especially if she had an audience to impress. But your sister took her passion very seriously. Even then, it's been years since I gave it a shot. Cole groaned at his bibbled pun. Mom chuckled. You weren't sure if she was responding to the joke, Cole's annoyance, or Lizzie's offense. Just as well, she'd be dragging you to the green every week. That's because I've got dedication. You need a good drive or two to get far. Mr. Halton nodded, clicking his tongue in appreciation. Cole looked from his dad to your sister, lost in the conversation. Outclassed it in golf and wit. I don't get it. A drive is a type of golf shot. You should give real golf a try. Maybe I'll even teach you some tricks. Don't try to change my dad to be more like you. Lizzie gave Cole a dirty look at the accusation. Mommy felt the need to move the topic ahead before it got heated.
Oh, nice.
That's really sweet of you, but I'm sure Mr. Halton is busy. He might not have time for another hobby. Yeah, I don't think English. Yeah, I don't think I'm made for it. Still, the offer is appreciated.
Why?
Then tell me something you really do already. You just go around every day? I like scuba diving. Though with the business, that's more work than play these days. Surfing and reading, snorkeling. Option. Those are things Cole likes. Wow. It's a good thing you like. It's a good thing you live by the beach. You stay quiet. By the beach sounds good. Don't I know it. I have nightmares about moving inland.
No way.
That's not a good joke. The sun had been setting when you got your food. Anyway, and by the time you finished, night had truly fallen. Your sticky fingers were the only remaining evidence of your meal. The kebab had been a great combination, more than the sum of its parts. The seasoning of the freedom to choose every ingredient yourself was what made it something to remember. Rising from the table, Mommy held up her water bottle. Okay, now that the food is gone, you've got to wash your hands. Amatrita, Lizzie, please hold out your hand. Probably didn't say that, but I added it. Lizzie complied, coming over and cupping her hands together in front of her. Mommy splashed some water over her hands, and Lizzie rubbed them together, working off any residue. Here. Mom passed her a paper towel from her purse, and Lizzie used it to dry off her hands. You're her Emma, Teresa. Option. You readily held your hands out to catch the water. Begrudgingly, you lifted your hands up. You didn't move. I don't need to. No. Readily. Copying Lizzie, you wash your hands and take care to clean every crevice between your fingers before wiping them dry. Nearby, Cove had taken his own course of action, wiping his hand on his pants and leaving a stain where his fingers had been. Mr. Halton shook his head.
Come on.
Let's clean it off, pal. He scrubbed at the fabric with a scrunched up napkin. Dad, it's not that bad. Everybody was cleaned up, or as clean as they could be, with the limited facilities, Mom spoke up. Let's go make one last check at the cooler and restock on drinks before the fireworks show. No time. We have to get a good spot. Everywhere is gonna be taken. How about I go ahead to save space again? You can meet up with me in the field after getting the drinks. Then I'm going with Code's dad. I'll find the perfect place.
Okay.
Sure thing. I could use an extra pair of eyes. What I also like about story modes, like the editors knew what they wanted in place, such as even if it was a new neighbor, he's still a stranger, but he wasn't so much of a stranger as they got to know them. So the mother trusts Lizzie around him to be like that, even me, but you know, I'm around Cole all the time. Mama shook her head ruefully as Lizzie's even more enthusiastic than usual attitude. Alright, me, Cliff, and Lizzie can go find a place to sit. Pam, Cove, and Teresa, do you want to go get the drinks? Okay. Options. You nodded. Okay, I'll get all the stuff we need. No, I want to pick up the spot. I don't want to get drinks. You observe your options. You consider your options. Nah, we want drinks. Okay, I'll get all the stuff we need. And Mommy, Lizzie, and Mr. Halden headed off into the wide open field where the fireworks were being set up. You joined Cove and Mom and returned to the cooler where you picked up drinks earlier. Even as you approached, you suspected you wouldn't find much in it. Yeah. Where it had originally been stocked to the brim, it was now half empty. The ice, which had cushioned the drinks and kept them cool, was largely melted, with only a handful of pieces floating like tiny icebergs. Slim pickings. The drinks that remained looked to be bottles of plain water, but you caught a glimpse of something more colorful amongst them. Mom rummaged around in the cooler, excavating a couple of juice boxes from the bottom in the process. Aha! I'm Teresa Cole. You can take one of these. You can take one of those if you want. The perks of helping. Options. You took a juice box for yourself. You took only water bottles. You took a juice box to share and a water bottle for yourself. Yeah, I gotta say something about getting, I can drink juice now, but I need water. Cole hesitated but decided to take a juice box for himself. When you were each loaded up with your chosen drink plus an extra bottle or two for someone else in the group, Mom's phone started to ring. She juggled the water bottles over into the crack of her arm and looked at the caller. It's Mommy! Hold tight while I get this.
How are you?
Hey, hon. How's it going? Did you find our perfect spot already? You nodded along to the call, punctuated by uh-huhs as Mommy gave her direction. Catching your eye, she gestured toward the grassy area. We got a place. Come on. We better hurry before the show starts. You and Cole jogged after your mom, who led you through the field, and the separate groups of people assembled there, back to the rest of your families.
Hello.
Hello, we're here, and we have and we come bearing drinks, though there weren't much left. The three of you handed over the spare drinks. You held up the extra juice box. I brought this for someone.
How sweet.
You're so thoughtful, Emma Teresa. Despite Mommy replying pretty expectingly, there was just one person who made a claim to the sweet drink. Can I have it?
Thanks.
Okay. Thanks. I love you, Emma Teresa, because I gave you the drink. And it's sweet. Aw. You two are a real pair. No. Once everyone had been equipped with a drink for the best event, we sat on the grass beside Cove and wait for the magic to begin. Most people in the park had taken a seat now, with a few stragglers. Food. Gotta eat my mouse. Again. With a few stragglers silhouetted back at the tables in the distance. A few rambunctious kids were still dashing about, but their number was steadily decreasing as their parents called them over and restored order. Someone bearing a cardboard box weaved between the groups, pausing every so often. You nudged Cove and pointed. What are they doing? It looked like they're handing something out. I can't make out what it is. I hope it's not drinks. Mommy chuckled, but Lizzie and Cole were now watching the bestower of mystery goods keenly. Are they gonna come to us too? Mom softly put her hand on top of your sister's shoulders as if she feared Lizzie might bolt over to the stranger. Lizzie didn't even glance at her, eyes locked on the potential prize. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Option, you were intrigued, you didn't care. I didn't care, I came here for a show. There was no point getting excited over something that might not happen. And there were other things going on. You toyed with the grass between your fingers and waited for the show to start. Then the boxman made his way to your room. Evening, I'm handing out desserts. Any takers? There's desserts? Lizzie squealed. Hopping up off the ground, the man chuckled. Oh, that's cute. I'm gonna take that as a yes. Ice cream's on the menu, vanilla flavored with a twist of either chocolate or strawberry syrup.
Nice.
None for me, none for me though. Thanks. Some, but others is appreciated. I was saying, but the offer is appreciated. I want chocolate. Can I have strawberry? And a strawberry for me too, please. Now you are going to have to make a decision, chocolate or strawberry. To be honest, I wish they had plain vanilla, but whatever. Option, I'm gonna get a strawberry, I'm gonna get chocolate. You pulled on your mom's shirt and whispered that you wanted strawberry. You pulled on your mom's shirt and whispered that you wanted chocolate. You didn't want either. You were lactose intolerant. No, you were not. So we're gonna get chocolate because strawberry? No. Reaching into the box, the man brought out the request ice creams and tossed them out. It came packaged in a little plastic cup, complete with a wooden spoon stuck to the paper lid. The condensation wet your fingers in a pleasant way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kids are going to say, sorry. Well, she said thank you. Kids, are you going to say thanks to the nice man too? There was a chorus of thanks. He cordially nodded and walked off to another group. The men couldn't spend much time with each other, consider how many he had to get to. With each group. You peeled back the tab that covered the ice cream and got right into your unexpected treat. It tasted amazing. Lizzie was definitely enjoying hers. Cove was too. You couldn't help think about how Cove had strawberry while you had chocolate. So, option: can I try yours? Want a bite of mine? But you didn't mention that out loud. I'm gonna put this in a setting and say no. Because we don't need to start sharing food like that, come on. Lizzie munched away happily, but it ultimately didn't succeed in monopolizing your attention. Eyes wide, she looked at your mommy and pulled on her pants. I didn't get strawberry. Can I have some of yours, please?
Of course.
Sweetie. Lizzie cooed with excitement as mommy presented hers with a dollop of the ice cream and syrup mixture. Licking her lips, Lizzie lapped it up. Whatever. Mommy, come on now. Lizzie has all the ice cream she needs. She simply laughed and pinched Lizzie's cheek, then dug her spoon in again and held it out to eat. I just can't resist. Amatrisa, would you like some of mine? She's got a full cup of ice cream to eat already. But that's not the same as getting a little extra from your mommy. Nah, you just gave my sister some. You passed on the bite. See? Amatrisa knows how it is. It doesn't hurt to ask. Cole watched the exchange silently with a blank expression. Mom, on the other hand, shook her head, a profound smile on her face. Well, you better at least give me some too. You could have gotten your own if you wanted ice cream. You heard her. The kids have ice cream already, and they're getting some of yours to boot. I have nothing. Now is when you decide to be firm. Laughing, mommy fed some ice cream to your sulking mom. She could. There. Anyway, my throat's kind of dry. I've actually been reading quite longer than I should. We actually decided to be tough. Okay. Oh shoot. Okay. Laughing, mommy fed some ice cream to your sulking mom. She could never actually follow through with being tough.
There.
All better now? Yes. Good. How about you, Cliff? Would you like some? No, I'm still okay. But thanks for keeping me in mind. Cole, it's only fair that you get the choice to. Cole shook his head firmly, concentrating on his own cup. Mommy smiled. Okay, as long as no one is feeling left out. Mine was also so nice to everyone. Then the fireworks cut through the sky, whistling as it ascended until it hit its crescendo with an explosion. The park flashed as if alight. Squealing, Lizzie leaped to her feet, her forgotten ice cream tumbling to the ground as the fireworks crackled into tiny drops of glitter in the sky. It's starting! Everyone else looked up to the sky as another firework whizzed through the air. With each explosion, Lizzie would jump into the air. Option: the event was thrilling. It was impossible to tear your eyes from the scene. The loud noise hurt your ear. You covered them with your hands. Nope. It was kind of neat. You shrunk back, hugging your knees to your chest. Would I be afraid of the last option? Not gonna say it hurt my ears either, because I actually enjoy the sound of fireworks. It was kind of neat. It was impossible to tear your eyes from it. It was kind of nice. Cole sat by his dad, captivated by the sky sparkles and flashes overhead. Mr. Halton watched the fireworks scene impassively. He did smile at you, and even gave a thumbs up when he noticed you looking over. Mommy hopped to her feet, pulling Mom with her, pushing her into joining Lizzie and jumping up in tandem with every crack of the firework. Mommy then bent down to offer you a hands up too. You decided to quietly watch from the background. You got up to join your family. Beckoning for Cole to join. Nah, you're just sitting down quietly. Do I want to though? Why not? Cole got to his feet, tailing after you as you stood with your family. Your mom's face lit up, literally and metaphorically, as you approached. The five of you shrieked and leaped along with the sparkles in the sky, not trying to contain your joy at experiencing the sights together. The fireworks continued, some twisting like the coil of a spring as they arch into the air, others shooting straight from the ground and shattering into a million tiny specks. Every color got its spotlight in the show, from fiery red to eerie green and blue that could rival the sky, the ocean. The show built up to a grand final that boomed over the park and filled every inch of the sky, the twinkling lights representing the full spectrum of the rainbow. The exhilaration that had fueled you while the fireworks were going off was sapped dry now that the show had finished. You collapsed into a giggling heap on the ground, suddenly aware of how your legs ached from your exertion. Cole tumbled down with you, his expression gleeful. Mr. Halden watched his son with an expression much happier than the one he had worn while watching the show. Lizzie gave a final whoop of the delight and shared a high five with Mom as Mommy shouted for an encore into the night. You didn't know what that meant, but you liked the way it made Mom laugh. Though the sun had gone down long ago, the air on your bare arms was warm. Air, okay. You took in your jitty family, your spirits buoyed by the fireworks display. Then your new friend and his dad, who looked happy in their own quieter way, and smiled. It had been a pretty special night. And with that, we got 2 episodes down. Which, you know what that means, we are almost done with growing up. But not growing up, step 1. And I'm going to continue this next time. And then we'll be right into the new upbringing. So thank you for joining me, and if you made it this far with my raspy voice and me stumbling in and adding words, thank you. Because the water was not helping me at all as I was reading. So thank you, and I'll see you next time. See ya!